Michael Caine I first met in London. He was unknown at the time, but he did have a movie coming out called Alfie, and everybody was talking about it. So it was suggested that I go to his house and talk to him, which I did. And we became friends, and thus his first interview ever played in America. But here's a wonderful Michael Caine interview.
That lovely song is going to follow you through life.
It has followed me now for 18 years.
Not a bad one.
No, it's a very good one. And it wasn't written when... That song, by the way, is called Alfie, from a film that I did of that name.
By Burt Bacharach.
By Burt Bacharach.
Hal David.
And he didn't write it until he saw the film in America for the first time. And when we did the American showing of it, we put it on the end of the film. It wasn't on the film in England.
Just think you could have had it. Suppose you'd done a film with Knees Up Mother Brown.
Knees Up Mother Brown.
That could have followed you through life, too.
Well,
you're damn lucky, Michael.
With my voice, Knees Up Mother Brown has followed me.
They probably don't know that great English
song. No, they don't. No,
Knees Up Mother...
Yes, it's a Cockney ballad.
I've just been to a wingding down Ditto Brixton Square.
Oh, you can't translate those songs into
Knees Up
American.
Mother Brown. Well, Knees Up Mother Brown.
Yeah, the second line you can't say on television.
Come along, dearie, let it go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
You paraphrased everything, it's cleaned it up and done.
It's your bloomin' birthday. Let's wake up all the town. Knees up, knees up. Don't get the breeze up. Knees up, Mother Brown. Look, they love it. Michael, I can't believe the news I just heard about you.
What's that?
You just got a driver's license?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Isn't it a little late in life to be getting a driver's license?
No, I figure I've got a couple of years left, even in a car.
Did you get the license for the right side of the front seat or the left?
No, I got it for work. You see, I've never driven in England. I've never driven a car in my life until 3 weeks ago. I took some lessons. I took 5 lessons, and then I passed the test. And
why did you wait?
Well, I didn't have time, really. It's very difficult to fit in all those lessons and things. And in England, I lived in London, and there's really no need to learn to drive in London because transport, taxis, cabs, subways, everything you've got there is great. And if you drive a car, you can never get anywhere. And if you do happen to get where you're going, you can't park anyway. So there's no point in learning how to drive. And in any case, for the first 30 years of my life, I couldn't even afford driving lessons, let alone a car. So there was no point.
So you learned here in Los Angeles?
I learned here in Los Angeles. And
did you do well?
Yes, I did. The driving teacher said I was very good because he said, being an actor helped. He said, because the moment you got in the car, even on the first day, he said you took on the performance of an expert driver, which is what you do. Because I've driven in films. I've driven at 100 miles an hour in films. I don't have a license or anything. But suddenly you're there and they say, you're a racing driver, so you go and you're driving along. And you get out the car and have a nervous breakdown at what you've just done.
But you did drive the car in the scene.
Yeah, I drove the cars in scenes. And then he said to me also, he said, because you're an actor, you can take direction. He said, so when I say to you, turn left here, turn right, and he said, you just do it. He said, normally with people, they say, what did you say? What did you say? Where we going? Where we going?
Yeah.
And he said, they get it all mixed up, which I never did, you see.
Now, have you tested yourself on the freeways? Have you tried the Hollywood?
The second lesson I did was on the freeway. The guy says to me, we're going to Pomona. And is there someone here from Pomona?
Oh, yeah. They're afraid to drive back.
They're afraid to drive back in case I'm there.
Was that an experience?
Oh, it was quite an experience, because when you get near to Pomona, there's all those interchanges with all trucks on.
Yeah.
And that's quite frightening on the second day of driving. And
they have no respect for your Oscar-nominated performances.
Nothing.
They don't care.
No, but I was in one of those cars which said the driving school, California driving school, and had 2 steering wheels and brakes and everything. So all those truck drivers kept well out of my way, and they looked at me, and they figured, what the hell is this guy doing on the freeway? But I was driving very well.
Did you pass the written test well?
Yeah, I passed that even before I started, because I have photographic memory. I can pass those. That's easy.
Really?
I don't know what it meant. I just photographed it in my mind and passed it. Oh, he's got it there. Go on.
I did not do well on the test.
I made 2 mistakes and argued with the guy that his answers must be wrong for that day. I said, because I cannot make mistakes in this. But they were mistakes on questions where it's an opinion rather than a fact.
There's no opinion having to do with the
It seemed
law.
very opinionated to me.
Oh,
anyway.
Before making a turn,
Yes.
when should you signal your intentions? 100 feet before reaching, 50 feet before reaching the turning point, or 500 feet before reaching the turning point?
50 feet.
Wrong.
Is it wrong? 100 feet?
100 feet. You didn't pass, pal.
I told you I got 2 wrong.
Let's see if this is the second one.
I told you I have a photographic memory. I don't know what it means. I just photographed it on the day and went there and signed it.
What does a yellow parking zone mean? No stopping, loading zone, or parking for properly identified vehicles?
Parking for properly identified vehicles.
Wrong.
What is it?
Loading zone.
Is it?
It's where you get loaded. Pull in and have a drink. That's 2.
I
So
hope
the
my
rest.
instructor doesn't see this.
Couple more here. If you meet animals on the highway, should you? I want to say shake hands with them. No.
You
Should
say
you?
hello out the window.
Right. Make a U-turn when clear of oncoming traffic. Turn on emergency flashers. Slow down and stop if necessary.
Slow down and stop if necessary.
That's good. That's good.
That is really for me.
Now this one I love. This is my favorite. If you're carrying an open bottle of liquor in the car, you must A, put it in a brown paper bag. B,
I know these are rigged up questions now.
no, this is true. Put it in the glove compartment. C, put it in the trunk.
You're not allowed to have an open bottle of liquor in the car. It should be in the trunk. Well,
Yes.
you-
Oh, yeah.
you can't
I
get
thought.
it,
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say none of them are right. Put it in the trunk.
Yeah, you have to put it in the trunk.
But then you have to keep stopping, opening the
Yeah.
trunk, and taking a drink.
Yeah, exactly. But the funniest thing is that in America you have to put a bottle in the trunk, but so long as a weapon is hidden, you can keep it on. You can keep it by your side on the front seat, so long as it's under your jacket.
Yeah, yeah.
So long as it's seen, so long as it's not concealed. Isn't that funny?
Isn't that strange?
Isn't that strange? Yeah.
You just had the famous midlife birthday, huh?
Yeah, I was 50.
Or should I? Oh,
No.
you can say it.
Yeah, I was 50 last March the 14th.
Crisis.
No. I never worry about things like that. I like being 50, as opposed to the alternative.
Yes. Not being
I mean,
here.
there's only one alternative to being 50.
Yeah.
So I'm making the best of it, and it's very nice. I enjoy it.
How old do you feel?
About this evening, about 49.
Do you?
No, I've just had a cold. I normally feel about 41, but I had a cold, and so I feel about 49 tonight.
Age is strange. I mean, you really don't realize your age until some idiot talk show host says, "Oh, you just hit your
Yes,
middle
you don't really. Well, also you don't realise your age until you're on a movie, and the director says, "Now you pick up the bag and run over there." And you do that, and halfway you collapse, you know. And you say, "Hey, just a minute, I used to be able to do this."
Yeah.
And you suddenly realise. And I tell you what my age shows. When I was younger, I used to get older women coming up to me saying, "Could I have your autograph for my daughter?" Now I get young girls coming up saying, "Could I have your autograph for my mother?"
Isn't that interesting?
Also, I had a middle-aged woman who came up and asked me for an autograph for her mother. Now I figured out her mother must have been 80.
Yeah.
So you begin to worry. Mind you, it was a bad day for me. I looked terrible.
Not true at all.
Yes, in the mornings.
In the mornings, is
Yeah.
that the roughest part of the day?
That's the roughest part of the day.
What do you do at night that make it so rough in the morning?
Well, it's not that what I do at night. It's that I have a very low blood pressure, so I don't get up steam till about 11 o'clock.
Oh.
People don't speak to me till about 11.
Including Mrs. Caine?
Yeah, she just keeps out of the way a lot.
Does she?
Yeah. Everybody does. I go walking around the house looking very sort of miserable till about 11, and then I'm quite nice for the rest of the day. And I'll stay up with you till 3 o'clock in the morning if you like.
Sure.
It's the morning.
Particularly if there's a soccer game on.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Or baseball.
Or baseball. Be curious, Michael, to know if the English critics respect you as much as the American ones do. You really are a giant here in America, and they love your performances.
Well, they do in a way, but rather grudgingly, because it's based on the sort of class thing in England, in as much as I'm obviously to them the way I speak a Cockney. And so I'm not treated with the respect, say, that Sir Laurence Olivier or Sir John Gielgud or any of those are treated.
But that stigma isn't still evident, is it?
It is, but only in the press. It's not really with the people. The press are very divisive about it. They try to make social stigmas on people in order to... sometimes they do it politically. It's for political reasons. Them and us is very much the conservatives and the socialists. It's the cloth cap and the upper middle class.
But among the new generation of journalists, some of them must be Cockneys.
Yes, they are, but they've been trained by the old generation of journalists, and the stigmas have passed on. And they also deal in envy tremendously. When they speak about you, they say things like Michael Caine. As I spoke to Michael Caine, he'd left his $2 million home and got into his £50,000 Rolls Royce, and jabbing it in all the time that there is this sort of Cockney idiot who has done well. And even 2 weeks before I passed my driving test, I read in an English newspaper an alleged conversation with me as I finished my driving test and I passed it. The guy talked to me, allegedly, just 2 weeks before I passed it. And then the zinger at the end of the article said, and of course, Mr. Caine, as you would know, took his driving test in a Rolls Royce, which of course was entirely untrue.
Ooh.
But they do that all the time to me.
Are they angry that you're living here for a while rather than there?
No, they're angry that they're not living here.
Right. The English actor in America does much better than the American actor. I think to this day, I can't recall an English actor getting a bad review. I suppose it's...
Oh, yes, you do. I've got some dreadful ones.
Here in America?
Yes, they do. They really give it to you.
I think we're still awed, though, by the English presence in theater and...
Well, I don't think they're in awe of me. No, if I deserve it, they give me a zinger or two. Critics are not sort of nationalist or chauvinistic. They really do stick to what they want to do or what they think.
Right.
You don't get any special privileges being English.
Well, that was a wrong statement.
I'm sorry about that, Merv.
Yeah. That was sad about Sir Ralph Richardson.
Yeah, he died yesterday.
Right.
But I was asked for a quote on him by the English press yesterday, and I said, well, I feel rather happy that this man could live and be happy and die working at the age of 81. There are so many of us who will die even, trying to get out of bed
Right.
by the age of 65, let alone that. And I mean, I always feel quite envious of people who've had such a long innings rather than sad that they died.
Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing to me.
In your new film, The Education of Rita, you play a professor.
Yes. I play
Alcoholic?
an alcoholic college professor who is asked to educate a working class, very sort of ignorant hairdresser girl, the type of person which in the English class system he's never come across before. And
A kind of Pygmalion.
It's a kind of Pygmalion, except I played it more like Emil Jannings in The Blue Angel. I wanted to make myself look as unattractive as possible, and as you'll see in a minute, I succeeded brilliantly. I gained 35 pounds, grew a rough old beard, and got some very rough clothing. Because I have a very close friend who's an alcoholic, and they're always overweight and swollen.
Yes. But you had to gain 35 pounds?
Well, the director didn't say you've got to. I decided to gain 35 pounds.
What a thrill.
It was real
Why
thrill.
wouldn't someone say that to me?
Yes.
What did you do to gain 35 pounds?
Well, I was in England, so I love all that English junk food, like pork pies and mince
Trifle?
pies.
Did you have a lot of trifle?
Steak
Ooh.
and kidney pudding, oxtail, all those things. And I just pigged out on those and English beer, and you blow up like a balloon, really. You look like an airship in no time.
But what an exciting way to go.
Yes, but then I got a phone call from Stanley Donen saying, in 6 weeks' time, you're going to be on a beach having an affair with a 17-year-old, you're going to be in swimming trunks, and you better lose that 35 pounds that you gained.
Well, didn't they ask her to put on 35, and you would have been equal?
17-year-olds don't put on 35
17-year-old.
pounds. No.
What kind of character will that be?
That's a comedy. That's called Blame It on Rio, and it's a story of a middle-aged man's affair with a 17-year-old girl.
Not something that would ever really happen.
No. I mean, it's a fairy tale, really.
A fairy tale, yeah.
But she is kind of gorgeous. She's a girl called Michelle Johnson, who's only 17. She's about 5'11", and she's a sort of cross between Brooke Shields and Marilyn Monroe. So,
really?
Yeah. So I was doing press-ups and sit-ups and push-ups like fury, and I mean.
And I bet Mrs. Caine sat on the beach too.
Mrs. Caine was there the whole time.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Merv.
It's great to see you again.